let's talk about Peter the Great, the Tsar who, well, broke Russia to remake it. So, back in the late 1600s, Russia had all this potential, but it was completely and totally stuck. Isolated from the world, technologically backwards, and just trapped by its own traditions. The problems were deep. We're talking a medieval society and no real access to the sea. So how in the world do you drag an entire country, kicking and screaming, into the modern age? Well, Tsar Peter had an answer to that question. And trust me, it was a brutal one. First off, you gotta picture the guy. He was a giant, standing 6'8". And his personality was a total contradiction. He was a curious reformer, but also a fierce, absolute ruler. He actually went on this wild 18-month tour of Europe, just soaking up every Western idea he could. Yeah, his whole mission was to learn how the West worked so he could build a brand new Russia. When he got back, his plan was insane. Defeat Sweden, get to the sea, and build a new navy and capital. And it worked. The Great Northern War completely flipped the script. Russia was now the top dog in the Baltic. With that win, he founded St. Petersburg. He called it Russia's window to Europe. But this city was built on a swamp through just sheer will and unbelievable human suffering. And this wasn't just about cities. He started a cultural revolution, even forced nobles to shave their beards. Politically, his big move was the governing Senate, a council based on what you could do, not who your dad was. It was a radical idea for Russia, tossing out hereditary privilege for a system based on actual service. But here's the catch. All this progress was built on his own unshakable, absolute power. He had a terrifying secret police and crushed anyone who got in his way. No democracy here. Then, in 1721, he made it official. He declared the new Russian Empire, with him as emperor. So his legacy is complicated. The state got way stronger, but the cost was absolutely brutal oppression. As one historian said, for all his changes, he was still a typical Russian ruler of an autocratic state. He didn't just change Russia, he locked in a system of absolute rule that has a very, very long shadow. So, what do you think? Was he a great reformer, a brutal tyrant, or somehow was he both?